Hey friends, it's me, Cynthia, and we are live from Asheville. Sorry there was a delay. It seems like every time I'm trying to do something on the internet goes on the fritz. Maybe we have weird weather. One of my ears is completely like I'm in a box. It's like I'm stopped up. And so that made me a little bit crazy. And by crazy, I mean I thought, hey, maybe I'll just go take a nap instead of doing live. But we eventually figured out to, do the things that you have to do to restart a router and such. Even though we did it before, it just seems like everything needs to be like an update needs to happen before we go live every time. So I apologize for the delay. Anyway, today I would like to talk about texture and color when you are making a necklace, because that can impact your design. So what I'm doing right now is I am beading and knotting, and it's a lot of fun. I can't even stop. I'm going to flip the camera around here in a second, but I started this while Azalea was futzing with the internet, and I'm almost done, so that's a good thing. That's one of the good things about knotting, is that it's very, very quick. Oh, I see our friends are here. Hello, Allison. Hello, Nilda. Hello, my friends. Yes. Let me see. I've got this mouse. Let's see if I can get it to work.
What are you trying to do?
Where is the mouse?
Being futzy, being goofy. Here, let me do this. No problem.
Oh, here we are. Oh, I see some other comments.
Funny?
Let me see. I don't have my glasses on.
Sorry, I don't know why it's doing that.
Hello, Michelle. Hello, Cherie. Thank you all for joining me today.
You want to
see what I'm making? Here's what I'm making. Oh, let me show what I did make before. I'll show it. Okay. Are you ready to flip? Let me see.
Sure.
Hello, Robin. Hello, my friends. Thank you all for joining.
All right.
Are you ready? Let's do it. Here we go. So last time on Sunday, let me see, this light is too bright. And then this light's down. You can't win. There we go. It's back for a second. For a few seconds, the light is back on. I got these lights at Bead and Button one year from Ladybug. It's called Ladybug or Dragonfly. Some kind of, I don't know what it's called. Anyway, while I was waiting for the internet to get right, I started knotting this. This is the latest kit. Oh, thank you, Tina. She says, you're always worth waiting for. I appreciate that. Thank you. Hello, Cindy. So I showed this knotting technique on Sunday, but I showed it with the space in between, which is this. And I will show how to finish that here today. That's one of the things we're going to go over is finishing. Oh, I forgot I tied it. Let me untie it. I did that so it would not be a problem. But as you can see, sometimes when you're going to save time, you actually make it worse, like I did here. Hello, Robin. And hello, Dreamy Style. I like that name. That's pretty cute. Azalea, where's our chill vibes? We need it today, of all days.
Yeah, I can do that in a second.
All right, so this is what we showed on Sunday, and I'm going to show in a minute how to finish this off. In the meantime, this is what our kit is this week. We get this juicy amber garnet, and I'm doing a flow, and that flow is I'm going to talk about texture and color. This is a 2-strand knotting. Oh, hello, Wendy. She says, "Hello, ladies of the bead." That's pretty cute. That makes me think of what is that? What I don't know what I'm thinking. Like the everyman bead with an E at the end. I think that was Chaucer, Geoffrey Chaucer. I don't know why I thought of that. Oh, The View. No, I don't think it's from The View that I'm thinking of. I've never seen the show The View, if that's what you're talking about. So this, I love this. What is this? Is this garnet? I think this is garnet.
That's a red-green garnet combo.
So this is hessonite mixed with regular garnet. And I have it flowing into this manuka honey colored amber here, into this rhodolite colored garnet. It's dark on the image, but it's actually more of a, when you see it in real life, this color, this light is very strong. Maybe I put the light going this way. I don't know, is that better? That's a little bit better. More realistic lighting. Oh, Tina says, I'm interested on that because you shall show big and small beads. So that I like to use varying size. We have these small guys in a 3-point here. And then I have a patch of this kind of a rondelle shape of nugget, and then back to these. And then I have a few of these in a kind of a soft nugget. And this is a pyrite. I think they look good. Usually I'm not drawn to pyrite, but this one I thought really perfectly went with these colors here. And it's kind of a neutral. But the reason I thought they blended well is because you see this is a golden obsidian and it has a sheen, or they call it golden sheen. It comes in different colors. It comes from, a lot of it comes from Mexico. And we'll lift this up and I'll show a sample of it. Where did that sample go? Uncut. Oh, this is a piece of garnet. This is a piece of amber that I had the intention. You would not know this, but this is a AAA grade piece of amber. You can't tell because of this rough surface. Let me see if I get my light and show. It's a blue amber. Let's see it. Yeah, here we go. You can see when you get a UV light on it, that shows it. It doesn't show on the outside because it's kind of crusty from, but this is how I was looking at it to test it, to see inside. And on the inside of this, it's like, kind of remind me of a steak a little bit. So this steak of amber is very clear on the inside. Let me see if I can show it a little brighter. Kind of interesting. You can see if there's any inclusions. I use a light to look through it when I'm buying it. This is sold by the gram. So what they do when you're at the gem shows is they weigh the piece, and it doesn't really matter if this has this stuff on it. It's not of concern to the dealer. They want to just sell this part to you. And so when you buy it knowing that you're going to shave off a good 30-40% of it. If there's any kind of see, this part is kind of crackly and looks, it kind of looks like this would be cracked. This would completely be shorn off on a lap grinder. And I've shown some of that lap grinder before, but it makes a horrendous noise. So I have to figure out how I can show it without having that noise. So you would just use it, and this thing is, pretend this is the lap grinder and it's spinning. You'd hold it and it would just completely take it off like a sander or a grinding belt. But this is a really good AAA quality. I was going to carve this into my own versions of the bees. You guys remember how much I love the hand carved bees? Well, my guy was like, hey, I'm thinking about retiring, so get what you can. And within the next couple shows, I'm going to pack it up. So I thought, okay, well, time to get my own stuff. I don't know if I'm ever going to do it, but, we'll see. So anyway, when you're working on a necklace, in my opinion, this is just my thoughts on this, I like to do a variety of shape. So this is a kind of a nugget. These are faceted. These are a rondelle. This is an oval and rounds. I like to do something where the shapes kind of flow into each other. So here you have a rondelle. It's a smooth going into this rounded shape. So while it's not necessary, you could do a whole necklace with this, and it would be a beautiful mala. And you can, you could arrange these so that you have one here, and polka dotted. I've color blocked this because to me, that's interesting for this particular piece. I don't always do this because, it just depends on how you feel. I wanted to do a color shift. So what I was looking for was the color itself. And when I was picking this for this collection, I went through and matched up beads that had a good color shift between the strands. So I chose this garnet because it had both of the colors that I was using in this one strand. So this is a bicolor garnet round, and it perfectly went with this color of peridot. This is peridot here. So if you watched from before, you know that I start by stringing everything first, and I use this double thread method by using fray check on both strands, and I glue them together. And it takes about 3 minutes for it to be completely dry. Although, depending on your humidity or whatever, if it's cold, it might not dry as fast. I do like a bunch of these. So I have on my table this strand that's already been done, and I hang them over the edge. And I'll do like 5 or 6 of them. So this one's already ready to string. And I have another few of them. So I just get them ready, and when I'm done, I'll wrap them and put them in a bag. So these two are ready to go, and then I can see what the color is, the combined color, right out of the gate, right here. So it sticks out, and it keeps it tidy. Even though it's wound, you don't want it to be like going everywhere. These are silicone thread keepers, and this will keep your thread wound up pretty nice. They also come in, like you can use produce bags that's like netting. I have a friend that uses tights that she cuts up and like ties one end. This is pretty cheap. You can get these on Amazon. Oh, Robin, what are you using for string? I pretty much only use nylon anymore because I don't, I also love silk. Silk would be a perfect use for this technique, which I showed on Sunday, which was leaving a gap in between each knot. So it's like you could probably fit another bead in that space, but this would be a perfect one for a thick silk or hemp or whatever kind of cord you want to use, whatever will fit through your beads. So it's less important about the material. You can use the material itself. Doesn't really matter as long as it will fit through the beads you have. I mean, if you have hemp that will fit your beads, then by all means. I've made this with cotton. It works. The reason I like nylon is because it doesn't stretch. Silk stretches, and nylon's very, very durable. I've actually never had to deal with a broken necklace. Like none of my necklaces are broken with this. They have worn over years. If there's a sharp metal bead, they will wear eventually. But the reason you have knotting in the first place is so that if you do have a broken strand, you only lose one bead. Robin says, I've never strung anything before. Oh, well, I guess it's time to start, Robin, because this is fun. Robin's asking, is there a certain size? Again, any size that you can find that will fit your beads. It comes in regular. It comes in, this is, I think, a regular size. Or maybe this is standard. I don't know if they have a... And this one is, I think, fine. It comes in several sizes. I know my friend Kate, she carries a bunch of different sizes of cord. So for this project, I am using one micro thickness and one I think that's a fine, but you can use whatever will fit your beads. This one here, I think this one is standard as well. Let's see the thickness of this. Robin, it's not intimidating. This is the most non-intimidating thing. The reason being is you don't need any special tools, and you don't have to pre-measure. So if you don't measure correctly, you can add to this end if you leave enough room. The reason I started this is because if you look at most videos on stringing, you have to pre-measure and cut the amount of thread you need at first to use the knotting tool. So if you do that, and you don't measure it right, you'll be short. There's nothing. You have to just either redo it or figure out a way to add on. And I was never successful with doing that. Here, the hole of this bead is a little too big, and what I'm doing is I'm doing a double knot. And that's okay, because...
Did you already show them the whole hole?
Not yet. I want to show it in a second. I'm going to double knot this, though, and I'm going to pull tight between each one. Mary says, I love knotting beads. I didn't used to love it. I love it now. I did not love it then, but it is one of my favorite techniques now, and I never get tired of it. See, these bead holes are pretty big. So if that's the case, you either want to load it up. I have a necklace that I had to redo. I cut it because it was making, not cut, but I undid it. And by me, I mean my friend Joanne unknotted it for me. I'm looking around for it on the table. Maybe it's this one. No, it's this one. So here's the one that I had to pick out. Joanne picked it for me because I was too frustrated. And so the bead that caused the problem was this bead from Donna, and it has a massive hole. And I tried double knotting it, and I thought, oh, that's perfect. And then later when I pulled it, the knot slipped out, and it made two small knots. And then it was like wiggling around like a loose tooth, and it made me crazy. And so with beads like this, you have to put something else inside, like this. So I redid it, and this is a bead from my friend Wendy Bergman. She's in Australia. And if you look in here, there are seed beads on the inside. So if it does have a big, like a gap, you see seed beads in there, and it's not a big, it looks like, it's intentional. It's not a mistake. This one I loaded. If the bead was too big, what I did was I put a brass bead on either side to prevent it from, now it's not going to, now it's secure. But otherwise, if you have a great big bead, it can overlap your knot, and that's annoying. So I don't really like that story of having a loose. It makes me crazy. But I did find, where is it now? So I bought these just in case, so I don't have to deal with that again. These are crimp covers, and they're from Beadalon. I haven't tried them yet, but the gist of this is that you put this over your knot or your crimp, and it will hide your crimp. So I thought, hey, if I do that again, I can cover that big gap with one of these if it happens again. Sandy's asking, do you just knot a GG pewter bead in? Just wondering because of weight. I've done necklace with bead in the center. So what you want to do with that is you put it on, and if it has a great big hole, like some of them do, load on some seed beads that fit through. And if it's the weight, what you have to figure out is the combined weight of everything. So amber has a lower weight. Plastic, resin has a lower weight. You just want to keep it where you don't have it where it's really heavy. You don't want to load up a bunch of heavy beads. And if you do, make sure you put some that balance it on the back side of the necklace. That will help it balance out. So this is, I think Azalea named this one Autumn in Asheville. This is the kit. And there's a bunch of brass beads to do the clasp that I'm going to show you today. It has green garnet, that bicolored green garnet. This is what I have on here. Move that out of the way. Yeah, Robin says crib covers are handy for all sorts of things. Yeah, I didn't ever use them. Yeah, Wendy says I cheat with those crib covers if I have an ugly knot. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. So far, my knots have been pretty good. But this is the kit right here. There's a lot of juicy goodness in it, and we figured if look, these are my favorite. That I look at those and I think that's like Manuka honey. Delightful. Oh, waiting for a frog bead, Sandy says. We're casting and finishing. We've been like a machine since we've got home. No rest for the weary. All right, so I'm going to do a double knot on this. But then, let's see if I have the weight of the other beads pulling. They're pulling because I didn't give it enough lead. So usually I have these two going. See, it's a double strand. I'm almost finished with it. I'm going to do a double on this one. I'll be done in like, I don't know. It doesn't take very long. I feel like it's one of those things that it's very meditative and relaxing to do. It kind of checks that box in my brain of something that's soothing and really just a relaxing project. Now, I would tell you right now that knotting pearls can have the same effect, but that's only if your pearls are drilled with a big enough hole. And I've tried this with pearls. You just have to use both pieces have to be micron cord, because in my experience, most pearls have very, very small holes, or they have massive holes because they're like the big hole drill that have become popular to put on leather. Oh, Katney says, I got my GGS package yesterday. Oh, I'm so glad. We've been shipping all week. Shipping like crazy. There's some kind of error with Shopify must be doing an update because it's been fighting with us for the last 30 minutes or so. Yeah, so this is looking good. This is what I was talking about with the color shift. You can see it happening. So I've used these bicolor green and red garnets, and they're flowing into these really pretty milky color peridot. This is a hand cut facet on this sort of really earthy peridot, and then here's another green. This is an apatite. It has a sheen to it. They call that a schiller. That's usually reserved for talk about sunstone. I wanted to get this one done, but I don't know if I will. It's already 23 minutes in, and I wanted to show how to finish. That's usually takes a minute to show finishing. Finishing is where, for me, it seems like it always takes a long time to finish. Oh, thank you. Katney says, I like how you arrange by color. I like to arrange by color, and I also like to arrange by texture. So I've made plenty of necklaces where I'll use a jumble, and I don't ever use I never use symmetrical. Partly because I started with symmetrical beading, and now that I've been making for a really long time, I understand that symmetry is one of the first ways that our brains like to arrange things, and it's like one of the simplest ways to arrange. And it can be very satisfying, but it's more interesting for your eye because your eyeballs like to find pattern. We are creatures of pattern recognition. And when something has a set sort of, we have 3 here, 2 here, we start looking for the arrangement of pattern and color. That's just how it goes. And so what that means is when we're looking, it means you're staring longer at a piece, which is kind of what you want when you think about it. You don't want, when you look at a pearl necklace and it's all the same all the way, what ends up happening is you already know what to expect. So your brain kind of fills it in and you don't look as long because you know what to expect. So this is a way to get your eyes to look a little closer. It's almost like an invitation to say, hey, look at this. What's different about this? What is the pattern? What's happening? And the same thing with color. You know, you expect things to be like red, green, red, green, red, green, or two greens and one red, two greens. That symmetry, your eyes looking for that. So when it's divided up in another way, we'll say to ourselves, hey, what's happening here? What's the rhyme or reason? What's the pattern? We can't help it. It's in our nature to look for pattern. And when the pattern is unusual, it's more interesting. So here's another example. I did this on a live like a couple of weeks ago or so, where I'm doing a color shift, but I break up that color by putting in one that's in the color family, but not exactly the most, like this. You'd say, hey, why is this? But you're also looking at it and asking that question. So, like they say in art school, did it make you think? You know, you might not like it, but there's that question that the professors would always ask, did it make you think? And then you're like, okay, yeah, you did. So that means it was a success. So it's a different way to look at it. I come from a different background coming into jewelry than I am I didn't come through the craft door. I came in through the fine arts door. So my background is as a painter and sculptor. That's what my degree is in Renaissance painting techniques and 3D illustration. So when I came into jewelry, I came in looking at things I wasn't looking at it like what's pretty. That wasn't my first question of the day. It was what's inspiring to me, what makes my heart sing, and that's what inspires me today. Is not necessarily is this super pretty or is this technically perfect, which a lot of folks, that's a little bit different way of thinking about jewelry. Okay, so here's something. Oh, it fixed itself. I'm almost done knotting this. I have like three more. No, more than three. A few more. So from this end, I've arranged this with a little less green, partly because to me, I'm interested in the green, but it's more supported by the red. And this is kind of the green kind of pops against this dark color. But I make these necklaces with the intention of being able to wear it wherever you want. So if like in this one, I'm going to show this in a couple minutes. This clasp and button has a loop made with these brass little small. They're kind of like a cornerless cube, but they have a round, like a nail head. It's kind of an interesting shape. I really like them. And I thought that the round also called back to the round in this shape. So when I'm designing a collection of beads, I like to have what I call, just like in comedy, what they call a callback, where you'll see different shapes in different places. So where this shape is very similar to this, but it's not exactly that shape. It's similar enough to be like it can work in the same world, but it's different enough to be interesting, which is like kind of like my thing. Yeah, I love these. I feel like that's such a pretty color and shape. I love them. So you don't have to arrange them this way. I would say that whatever is interesting to you will work. These colors look good together and the stones themselves work harmoniously. So if you wanted to do, let's see, a blend that is like, because this is another one that I would do. I love doing batches or blocks of shape. It's one of my favorite things to do. I love these almondine That's another facet, and it goes along with this. So there's two types. You could make earrings with that. That'd make a great earring right there. Or you could even get more wild and make asymmetrical earrings, which is pretty exciting. So it could be like this. I think this is pretty too. So that you have a pink and green pop in there. I think that looks good as well. Maybe even 3 in there in between. And when you separate this, knotting really does put the focus on the beads. It's less about the bulk of the beads, like you're not looking at it in a way that I can't help myself. I love it when it shifts. It's like my favorite thing. I love that peach going into this and flowing into that. It's one of my favorite types of stringing methods. But, I do appreciate when something has like the contrast. Contrast is very satisfying as well. Like putting these together, kind of a high contrast. Well, not super high contrast. Maybe this would be more, like that's more contrasty right here. Now in my light, this light makes it where you cannot see the colors as accurately. Everything looks dark, but on my palette here, it's like it's a different, I don't know how to explain it. It just looks more saturated. So anyway, that's one of the different types of patterns. You could go where if you wanted to put something, say you do want to be more symmetrical. I feel like, and to use a pewter piece, you would just string it up. Look at this. One of my friends made this. Does anyone remember Two Cranes? Gosh, that's from like the early 2000s. I haven't seen those guys in years. But anyway, this guy used to make, this is Leland Blue. You could say that's your centerpiece. If you lay everything out, you can get a good sort of palette going. And say you make it short. If you do it the way and you leave yourself extra on either side, then that's no problem. You can just add more by putting more fray check on the end, and then making another needle. Okay, I'm going to do this where it shifts. This is a symmetrical idea. And it still looks good, I mean, it's hard to go wrong. I mean, you can go wrong. Certainly, that's entirely possible. But part of the enjoyment of beading is the action of sorting, the action of matching colors. I find nothing more satisfying. Maybe getting a massage is pretty satisfying, but you get my meaning on that. I mean, it's fun. And here, since this is kind of a heavy piece, this is a very heavy piece in the middle. So this would be a good candidate. If it's heavy and you feel it's heavy, you can say, let's see if we get that back in frame. You could do one of these and put space in between. And then maybe do a double strand of something much smaller. This has a great big hole. You could fit double strand through there, but do it separately. That's one of the good things. If something has a great big hole for the focal bead, you could put another strand coming out of there that would give you that look. Maybe pinch it off here and then finish it with leather. There's no law that says you have to do, if you start beading, that's the only way. You can only do seed beading, or you can mix and match. And like we've learned from Sundance Catalog, they're not afraid to go in there and say, you know what, I'm tired of beading or knotting. I'm going to knot this off with leather finishing or ribbon or silk. Yeah, Julie, it does look a little bit dark, but here, let me aim it a little closer and we can see if that helps to show like these are not like in real life. They have a better sort of tone that I'm seeing here. It's like the light flattens it, unfortunately. But, that's how it goes with sometimes when you have lighting situation and I'm working in the, it's dark outside. It'd be nice to work in the daytime. Anyway, oh, I'm glad you guys like that music. It's healing frequencies. It's not really music, I guess. It's like more background sounds. I'll finish this out. I guess technically I don't need to finish it out, but because I want to show that what you call it, how to finish. But I wanted to finish it on this. Anyway, let me just show the finishing on the proper part. So let's see. I have these. Let me pick some of these out of it. And we'll finish this necklace so you can see how to finish it. Where did I set it? Oh, here we go. Okay, so that's our kit. What is it called? Autumn. Azalea put the Autumn kit. Is that all it's named? Not Asheville Autumn or something like that?
My computer was messing up at the time and I wouldn't let me type anything, but I might change the name later if we reboot it.
Oh, yes. We were having... Something was up with this
For some reason, every time I tried to do anything, it would mess up and start opening other tabs and whatever that I did not want to open. Started doing something goofy for sure.
So this is why you leave a good long tail. This is about 8 to 10 inches. And here's how you finish it. Now, you can choose to do macrame on the end. Macrame is pretty. We'll show it on this. But I'm going to add these beads. And they have a nice big hole. And so that's why you don't cut this off immediately. You leave it on until you're finished. And I'm going to have one bead at a time, even though you could probably string the appropriate amount. And in the past, I've used those tweezers, those super sharp ones. Oh, hello, Vicky. Vicky reminded me, I think it's the same Vicky. It reminded me that I did not, I completely had brain freeze and forgot we even had a competition going in Fresno. We were working at such a breakneck speed while we were there. Everything I forgot everything that wasn't right in front of my face. Which reminds me, I was going to show the finished ones of these before we shipped them. Oh, here it is. So this is what I was sending to, or what we're shipping. They're finally out of the tumbler. We tumbled them and finished them. This is the prize for the winners of our competition. It's a silver heart with a sapphire. You can see it. I made an empty space there so you can kind of see it. Again, this light is very dark today. Even though it doesn't seem like it, the light kind of flattens the space. This is kind of a colorful plush background. But my beads are looking a little pale. Or not pale, dark, I should say. Like my background, I guess it's so much high contrast is the word I'm looking for. Oh, thank you, Pat. Thank you, Sandy. I hope everyone that received them, when they do receive it, they make something and then take a picture and put it in the group. Because that's why they won in the first place. It's because we are picking from the group. We are celebrating our 1-year anniversary of having the Greengirlstudios gang. And it's been such a joy to get on there and see all the things folks have made with our products. I don't know if y'all can imagine it, but it's really satisfying. I don't know any other way to describe that, of building a community from our work. It just feels good to see people using it, because I hear over and over and over for years and years and years, oh, I love your work, but I just don't want to use it. And then I feel sad. I know it's meant as like a compliment. I guess it's a compliment, but at the same time, if you don't use it, then it's not good for us for sure, because then we don't sell as many beads, and then you go out of business. So using it is the key. Oh, thanks, Pat. Pat says, talented group, and we've learned so much from you and all in the group. Thank you. Appreciate that. So this is just one way to finish it. I love this way of finishing, but there's many other ways. This might be a heavy spot though, so what I'll do is I'll make sure that I pick something that has a lightweight clasp or button, whatever it is. I made these a few years ago and I want to use them. I think I sold them. These were made from bronze clay, so they are one-offs that I made. Kind of cool. But this would be too heavy. Let me see if I have something else. This is a bead that I carved a long time ago. At least I think I did. I made a bunch in this size. And this is what they call, man, I can never remember that name of it. It's some kind of jasper. I don't remember. If anyone remembers the name of this color of jasper, where it's like I don't know if it's accurate on the screen, but it's kind of a grayish seafoam color. Something like that would be pretty cool. Although this is big. Maybe something that's half that size like that. That'd be a better clasp for it. Let me see what else I have here. I have this. This is pretty. I use this in a lot of my necklaces. This is one that Greg carved. This would be a pretty one too. The finish of this is this, or the toggle. Vicky says, would love to see a stone carving demo. I think I've done a stone carving demo. The only problem is that it's really a very horrendous sound. It's like you're going to the dentist. Not on all of them, but some of the ones that have a really hard stone make it just a really not nice sound. And so I have to figure out a way to show it, but somehow mute it. I don't know if that's possible. Do you think that's possible, Azealia, to mute it while...
Yeah, to mute our microphone while we're grinding it and then unmute it when we're talking.
Yeah, that's the only thing. I guess we could do that. I didn't know how to do that before, and I still don't know how to do that, but...
It's the button right there.
Oh.
Mute.
Okay.
Yeah, it's easy.
That sounds good. Well, then I can show it, but I won't be able to answer any questions or talk while I'm showing the grinding part. It would be nice if I could somehow turn off the microphone to that and put like healing vibes in the background, so you can just have the enjoyment of watching the beads being carved.
Yeah, we can put music. There's royalty-free music in the settings of StreamYard.
Can you do it where you mute one camera and then have another camera playing?
I'm not sure. We would have to Google that, I think.
So what I'm doing is I'm trying to figure out, I don't want to go too far and make a great giant loop, but I don't know, I haven't decided what one I want to put on there. What is this? Oh, this is one of the links my sister made, like, I don't even know how long, I don't even know, I can't even remember. So my sister at one point was helping me in the business when we lived in LA before she moved to Thailand very briefly. Let's see. That would make a good one. I thought about recasting these, but they're kind of fiddly and small, so I don't know. Yeah, if you could see all the stuff that's on my collection that doesn't even get used, it would be amazing. Oh, I was going to show that stuff from Angardan. Where'd it go? It was on my table. I took it out, so I was going to say, hey, you could make earrings with this and use it. All right, I think this will fit. What do you think about that? Think that'll look good? Possibly. Might be big, but, you know, this round one would be a good match, I feel like, because it's a round bead. There's only rounds on this, so I think that would be a good one. But I don't know if I want it in that color, the only thing. Those are the questions you got to ask when you're making a necklace. What's the appropriate clasp? Usually I have it picked first, but I change my mind. So that never, even though I pick it first, I change my mind. So when you're if you're making a loop, you have to make sure that it fits through the piece sideways, because that's how it's going to be in there. Otherwise, you're going to have too tight of a loop. Now, when you're making it, you want it to be enough where it can fit, but not so gappy that it comes undone, which is not the answer. Because then it just, like if you want it to be like this fit. This fit is an appropriate length. And I knotted between these. And this is another, these are brass. They're from Thailand. And that's about as, Now you could do it where you just string them. And that's a different look too. The only thing is it's slightly heavier because you don't have knots in between. If you just go and do solid beads. You could do seed beads. And I'm going to trim this because it's a little bit, getting a little bit frayed out. Oh, Katney says, I am definitely using the stuff I buy from you. I can't believe someone wouldn't want to. They can send them my way. That's funny. I think they're not, it's not that they don't like them. I think that they're being precious with them. When you have really fancy art supplies and you're like, oh, it's too good for me to use on this project. The only thing is that I go to a lot of estate sales, partly because I love the hunt, but I see again and again and again that people will buy, like I'll see their craft hoard and I'll feel kind of like sad because some of that stuff will never be opened, like a pad of super nice watercolor paper. And I'll think, man, they saved this their whole lives and they never got the enjoyment of using like this really nice watercolor block and probably used that crappy stuff that you get from, like the crappiest of crappy watercolor paper and never know the enjoyment of using delightful, wonderful materials. And I don't know, after losing so many people in the last couple of years, I think, you know what? I'm going to use the good stuff. I'm going to use my opals. I'm going to use my pearls. And I'm going to part with them and share them with my friends and use it. Because guess what? We don't live forever. And you might as well use it and love it while you're alive. Because you know what? You might not see tomorrow. And you're just collecting. It's just collecting dust. Might as well enjoy it. All right. I think that's long enough for whatever I'm going to do. You know what would be pretty? Sitting here looking at this necklace. I totally want, speaking of that, check these out. My friend Derek made these so long ago. Do you guys know Leah Fairbanks, Derek Lusk? These are from he carved these. I got these at Bead and Button a long time ago and I was getting ready to use them. These are opals. Pretty. This is a boulder opal. These are hand carved. These were not a cheap date, but boy, I love them so much. Yeah, look how pretty that is. And you know what? I'm looking on the screen and you can't even see the flash. These are super flashy, but this light is kind of, I think it's a little too strong. Maybe it'd be better if I moved it this way, onto the ceiling. Wendy says, if I keel over after I retire and I can't do at least a few months of beading, I'm going to cry. Yeah. That was my dad. He worked his whole life and he kept saying, when I retire, I'm going to fix up my vehicles. He had like a ton of cars that we now have to figure out what to do with. But you know what? He never did get to do it. He worked his entire life with the hope of enjoying that delightful day when he didn't have to do it. But it never worked out. So that was my lesson, was to enjoy it. And that's what he told me. He was like, you know what? Don't wait. Don't wait to travel and see your family and get in there and enjoy life. Because then you might have stomach cancer and not even know it. And I think this is, I'm so torn. Which do you guys think I should use? The star or the mermaid? We did this before, but you know what? I might even have another one. I'm going to see in my stash. I have another choice. Hope I'm not bumming you all out with all this talk of use your beads while you're alive.
I think it is a little bit of a bummer.
Is it a little bit? Azalea's always telling me it's too much, Ma. Too much. She gave me a look with her eyes. Yeah, I see that what Wendy's saying. My dad had a heart attack a month after they finally got their cabin in the woods. Yeah, it's true. You just don't know. Look how cute this is. This is a recast of this same thing here. And look how much smaller it is. This is what happens when you recast. You get a little bit of shrinkage. Debbie says, so true. I'm glad you said that because I've been doing that exact thing, just holding on to so much. And now I realize I better go ahead and use it so my kids don't have to deal with it. LOL. Yeah, it's not a fun conversation, but you know what? It's not, you're not going to live forever. That's the thing. You're just not going to. So I think this is a good size right there. I have these. I use these in my necklaces. Oh, thanks, Katney. She said, I think it's good to talk about it in moderation. Many of us need the reminders. Well, we see a lot of reminders that say live, laugh, love, and what's another one? Live for today, things like that. But I think they've become so ingrained in our society that we don't even hear it anymore. It doesn't soak in. That'd be too big. Maybe that little snake. Maybe this one. It's a good size. Let's see if that works. Oh, let's see what it says. Katney says star. Yeah, we'll do the star. Let's see how that fits. So I'm going to make a knot because I don't want it right up against that piece. So I'm going to knot it right here. And this I was doing using my fingers as the width. Oops, I almost went hog wild. That was hog wild for me. Okay, let's see. Now at this point, like last week, I used these little guys right here. This is what you would do. You could pop that in there and stop it at the point you want, and you can wiggle that knot around with these real sharp tweezers. This is I got these tweezers from a watchmaker website. It had a really weird name. I'll look for it and I'll drop the link in the group chat or in the group. Okay, so they're almost the same width, but I wasn't really precious about it. And I could add a couple of beads. I'm going to add a couple of those brass beads from the kit here. Now, if you have this point, you could use, it might not fit, so it's good to put a little bit of fray check on there. But these have a nice wide hole, so I could get in there and put another one just to give it a little bit of space between the blank and the bead and the star button, or whatever button I'm going to use. It's hard to say. I'm filled with indecision. Debbie says, what kind of cord are you using? Would wax linen work? Yes. Yes. Wax linen is a good one. Hand pull work. The only thing about the wax linen is you have to wax it again at some point. All right, so I'm looking at this to see which would fit. And I have to imagine it. So that's how you can kind of picture the whole look. I told Azalea that I want a one reel for my 50th birthday, which is coming up in November. It doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like I'm going to be 50. It feels like I'm going to be 30, but I think I've heard that before where people say they stop feeling the age. And then I'm like, maybe I'm not 50. Maybe I just did the math wrong. Maybe I'm more like 40 again.
You don't need to tell anybody about it. You can just
be.
You can just be whatever you feel like.
Yeah, a friend of mine said, hey, she doesn't tell people the age because there's people that will be judgy and weird because they think it's, you're old or whatever. And I was like, huh, it's just a number. So not that many people really believe that. They're kind of judgy and weird. Well, I guess I can see that. Wendy says 50 is the new 30, isn't it? Allison says Scorpio. Yes, I'm right on the cusp. Let's see which one of these will fit. The star, I feel it might be a little on the heavy side. Katney says, does wax linen get sticky when using it over time? Well, yeah, over time. That's true. Any kind of wax will eventually get a little bit of a stickiness to it. It wears off. If you've ever worked with waxed linen and you've had it, like I use it in bookmaking, the waxy surface eventually dissipates and becomes kind of like worn denim or like linen. I want to use this one, I think. I think this will be pretty. Okay, so here's the method of tying it. I don't do a full knot because it jumps up. So I'm going to do this. So I'm going to hold it, fingers holding, hold here, pinch it so it doesn't slide off into that direction. And I'm going to go into the top of the knot. No, I wait. There we go. That's what I want. I want them to be like a half so that I can do this. I'm going to catch it underneath this bead. Okay, because it makes kind of a smaller knot. Katney says, same, I don't tell my age, but I feel like there's some judging from that. There's a lot of judging. There's judging whether you tell it or you don't tell it. I don't really care, but I can see it. Maybe I'll stop telling it. Not that it matters. I don't think it does matter. Like one of my best friends, I don't know how old she is. I have no idea how old she is. And it doesn't bother me, I know we're different generations. And we get along just fine. So, no problem. Okay, I'm tightening that up because I don't want it to be loosey-goosey and gappy. All right, so that's one side of it. I think that looks pretty good. All right, let's use that tool. Get in there with it. Where did I put that tool? Here's my burner. So, I get this. Kate sent me this from beadshop.com. You can get them anywhere, but, support your local women-owned business, It might be like $1 or something more, or maybe even the same price, and maybe you want it really fast. It's worth the wait, I think. All right, so when you're burning this, you want to make sure you have good ventilation because nylon, even though it's a wonderful substance, might give you a headache if you're burning a bunch of necklaces in one go, you're finishing them up. Don't stand there sniffing it. Put a mask on or go outside with a fan. That way you don't have to smell it at all. All right, so what you do is I've made that knot real tight. You don't want to wait around and make a knot and then do it because they will loosen up. And the reason I know that is because I've done that. And then I'm like, hey, how come that's all gappy? So get that ready. I'm going to put my optic buzzers on so I can really see. Oh, Katney, yeah, Bead Shop is really fast. And they also, I was going to ask Kate if I could get some of that silk. I'm going to try it with this because it's a really thick silk. I'll get it in the natural color so I can dye it whatever color I want. All right, I'm going to just turn this on. Oh, now that I see it up close, I'm going to have to tighten that up a little more because it's a little thick. I could probably get away with one more round of one more knot. Right at that end. Okay, that is not going anywhere. Okay, so load it through. This is basically like a little mini soldering iron. You can use a lighter. That I used to use that for years, but you can easily make a mistake with a lighter. So beware. I'm trying to make sure I'm on the screen here. Okay, so you preheat it. It's loading, getting hot. And then when it's time, okay. So I have that little burr. So I'm going to turn this on, and I'm going to use this to smooth it out. Get rid of that little burr, blend it in. You don't think that you're going to feel that, but you're going to feel it. So make sure you smooth it out. And then, for good measure, here's some of that little pliers here. So then afterward, I go on with some pliers and I smash that knot. Get in there. Because I don't want that thing sticking out. Because you can feel it. If there's a little knot, you'll feel it. I've cut up necklaces because of that. I can't deal with it. Azalea says it's because I have the most delicate chi. Deborah's asking, "Hey ladies, just checking to see if you shipped my order. If my order shipped, it was my first order."
Deborah who?
Machin.
I have not shipped that yet. I haven't gotten to that one.
So
I'm still catching up, friends.
There were probably 300 orders that were waiting to be sent.
And it's just me filling them.
That's Azalea's film. She's going down the list one at a time. And she gets a bunch done, like 25, 30 in a session. So we're making our way through. We are at that point where we're almost at the finish line. We have like maybe a week's worth left, and then we'll be caught up. Yeah, it's a little bit of a wait, but we cast everything as it's ordered. We have some things that are in stock, but for the most part, I could never afford to keep everything. I know people are like, well, why don't you just make a little bit of everything? Well, because that's a fortune. It's a fortune in metal. If anything, just the metal alone, I could never afford it. Because I have like 600-700 designs. They're not even all on the website. Okay, I'm trying to put this through that miniature hole I made on this. Oh, that's not that small. Yeah, I mean, we did at some point when we had several employees, we could have a lot of things on the website, but it's just too cost prohibitive to make one or two of everything and have it ready to go. It's just there's no way we could do it. So what we do is we'll make the popular ones so that all we have to do is tumble them. But what happened with this is that we were out of town and it just gets backed up. So even though it's being cast, it's just, the action of packing, and we try to make sure we don't have any mistakes. So if you do that, it takes time to make sure you're not, just rushing through. Here we go. So I meant to show this. This is a pro polishing pad. This is my very, very favorite polishing method. So I was just polishing with my thumb. Watch what happens when you hit it with a pro polishing pad, because these are awesome. I should sell these. I never think to do it. But you can get them from Rio. But some folks don't have a wholesale, so that's why it might be hard. So you can really see the details with this. This is a foam pad that has a type of aggregate. It's very difficult to feel it. There are other pads. These are different ones. They're like Pro Pop. This is not a Pro Polish. This might be a Sunshine. I can't remember the name. But these work good too. They just leave a little bit of a residue. You can see that. It's pretty good. Hey, I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of a okay finish. And you got to use more elbow grease. Okay, let's get a pewter one and see what happens. Oh, this is sterling. We're here on sterling. Let's use for polishing pad. Oh, I have this one here. Pretty bright. I'm going to go over this with liver of sulfur to darken that background. But this one's going to be on. We're going to have this in pewter. Hopefully, I don't know, maybe next week. It's new. Yeah, that works good. This has a thicker side and then a soft side. Now these cannot be used on anything except metal unless you want to mess up your pearls. Because I know that some folks like to wipe down their pearls, wipe them down with just a paper towel and maybe a Viva paper towel because those are softer. Okay, I polished that one. Pat says, where can I re-watch the Sundance? That, I think that we had it on our Facebook page. Was that on, did we share that? The Sundance episode with...
we probably did.
With Softlex when Kristen and Abby... I don't think Nile was in on that bunch. I always say to him, Nile, you're like a prince. Because he's so handsome, and you know how like his facial hair is always so meticulously, he's so beautifully groomed. So you're just like a prince. You always smell good. I don't know any actual princes, but this is what I'm imagining for a prince. And he gets probably a little uncomfortable. But we know each other, and he knows I'm not being like flirtatious or anything. Wendy said, I tried to find it too and failed. Tried that and failed. Oh, well, you know what we'll do is I'll ask Kristen because she knows everything. And she knows all about how to find things. Actually, you know who knows about all that technology is Abby. She's like a genius when it comes to that stuff. She knows all these words like search engine optimization. So I'm putting a little bit on here because I can't manage to tuck that thing through that hole. It's too difficult. Oh, it would be on the... Oh, no. It would not be on TGBE because we had a few other people on it, and they were not in the TGBE, so that would not be on there. It might be on the Sundance or on the... It would be for sure with Softlex. They would for sure have that. I'll tell them that people couldn't find it. They'll be wanting to know about that because, they track that kind of stuff. I'm not really sure how to track it even. So that's not my gift. Oh, Kimberly says, look on the Softlex YouTube channel around August 9th. Oh, so smart. That one, now prepare yourselves. We were on for 2 hours. I was hoarse after that. So for one of these, you just put a little bead and hope. I don't know if I can even fit that through there. I might have to punch it again. I might have to punch that out. Let's see. I might have to punch it. Shoot. I don't know if I have the puncher down here. Well, I'll put a bigger one on. Maybe that's bigger. Yeah, that one's a little bit bigger. But I don't love it as much. That won't fit. That one won't fit. So my options are to punch it or, let's see, use a tool to get it, to open it up. Here, quick and dirty. Oh, thank you, Kimberly. That's so nice. She just shared it. Don't do this at home. There, you can see a little bit of extra. And especially with Lindstroms, for sure don't do that. But these are kind of chewed up. All right, we'll try it again. But it made a little burr. So if you get that little burr, you just use the edge of your pliers. Don't use them on your Lindstroms. Yeah, all to the good. And then use this coarse one. we were trying to make videos. We were told to make videos that are called evergreen videos. And that's the kind of video that you can watch anytime that's not alive. That's on my things to do. Yeah, it's not all the way through there. Get in there, you. They got it. All right, let's see. So for Sunday, I might as well talk about Sunday while I'm finishing this up. We will have some cast pieces for you, possibly. Maybe another kit. I'm not sure what we're going to have. I just have a bunch of stuff laid out in a big pile. So there's going to be a tutorial and we're going to do a giveaway. Azalea likes to know far in advance when we're going to have a giveaway. So we can have it on this what you call the StreamYard giveaway tool. Otherwise, it's too difficult to navigate it and play seek and find when we're live.
Everything's better when it's prepared in advance, for sure.
Yeah, that's true. All right, there's that. And I'm going to do that knot that I showed you. See how I pinched up here, close so it's not wiggling. Capture it with your other finger. Bring it around. And I go through the back side of the knot or the underside like this. Okay. Around the button, so make sure I'm not over the top of the button or over the top of the bead. I'm going to be on top of it or below it. All right. It's secure. Okay, I'm going to do it one more time because once would not be enough. Make sure your button there is facing the right way. I don't like it when it shows the hole on the top. It wants to do that, so you kind of have to like wiggle and make sure it's doing the right thing. And then I'm going to go down one more time and get in there. You don't want to go over the bead because that looks horrendous. Now I got these crimp covers, so if I make a mistake, I can just put one of those on there. All right. And you see how hard I'm pulling that? I'm pulling it hard. This is not going to come undone. I mean, if it is, then I will be very surprised. Okay, get your thread burner. I should show how to do it with a lighter, but I'd end up probably catching the phone on fire. Pat says, where's the link? Go up to Kimberly, I believe, shared it. Thank you, Kimberly. And I will let everyone know that we need to figure out a way to make these videos a little easier to find. Okay, what I like to do is hold it with some tension because otherwise it can just sit there and remelt to the piece. This won't work with, actually I think it will work with different materials. You just don't want to, it just might, might not be as easy. I haven't tried it with anything except nylon. Okay, I'm going to clean it up. You see, I don't know if you can see this, but there are a few little threads. Single knot, I did the single knot twice. And what I'm doing is I'm burning this closed. So you can see those little threads, it's like a thorn. So you take this to your tool. You need to get a paper towel or something. So if your tool gets gunky, like this is a little bit gunky, just wipe it. See, I'm turning it on. Otherwise, if you wipe it when it's not on, it won't do anything. This way it's melted, then you just capture it on the paper towel. Bang. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to smooth it. So there's a little burr there. I'm going to smooth it down to the other side, making sure that I don't melt through the other piece of thread, because then I basically melted through it and I have to redo it. So you have to be mindful. Okay, I'm just going to remove that little burr. And kind of seal it. Okay, and then feel it to see if it feels sharp. And then, if it's not sharp, I use these pliers to make the knot not so bunchy. There, nice and smooth. Now, if you don't like the knot that you made, you think, oh my God, that's so ugly. You can use these crimp covers. Let's use one. I've never used them before. Let's just see what it looks like. I'll cut a hole in this bag. Donna says, I tend to use too many knots. Okay, I might have to hustle because I'm seeing a thing that says your battery is running low. So I'm going to hustle.
On what?
The computer. So I'm going to hustle myself so we don't get cut off accidentally.
Oh, yeah.
So let's see what happens here. We have this knot. Let's see if it works good. Now, if I do one on one side, I'll do it on the other. I don't like there to be just one. Okay, so let's cover up that knot. This is designed for crimps. They call it a crimp cover. All right, let's see if I can close that. What did I use to close it with? A crimp closer? A crimper?
I don't know. I've never used that before.
Yeah, I don't know either. We'll see. I'm going to try. I don't see those crimp pliers anywhere. Okay, let's see what happens when I use this. Might not be good. Might be too big. Oh, it's not. It's over the knot. That's not going to work. I wanted to use that right now. Impatient. I think that's too big of a knot. Need a bigger crimp cover. It shouldn't be. Let's see. Open it. This should be the right size. Might be I made too bunchy of a knot there. That's better. I keep putting it right in the middle of the knot. Let's see. It's actually pretty tricky. All right, there we go. This is the tip of the crimper. Donna says, I use the crimpers. Hey, can you go run and get me those crimp pliers, honey? I'm upstairs so I could try, or even those rosary pliers would work, I think. Let me see if I can get that straightened out. Alright. It's right in the middle of the knot, so let's see if it works. Katney says you got to go slow and rotate. Okay, let's try it. Alright, here we go. I'm going to use it on the largest setting. A little bit, and I'm rotating. I can see how the temptation would be to just do it. Okay, so this does take some finesse, y'all. This is not easy. It is for sure not easy. This is something you're going to have to practice. At least it's going to take me some practice. The rosary pliers can crush the crimp. Yeah, I see that. Chain nose. that's what I have so far. I guess I could close it a little more, but I can't really see it, and I want to get ones with a bigger hole. I have some that have a wide thing right here. I'm going to go hunt for those. But it should work on this one that has a very small knot. Let's do it on that one. Kimberly says it takes practice. Yes, it does. We'll go this knot here. Get on there, you. I might have made it too big on this side. Oh no, it fits it. All right, try it again. The first one I did, it was a little cockeyed. Like one side was sliding to another end. Oh, sorry, y'all. That was the computer just died. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
All right.
Everything has to be difficult pretty much all the time with technology.
Every time I'm on for
we
some
very
time.
rarely get a. The universe does not bless us. Guys, can you guys? Are we on? The computer died, and all of our plugs that we're using on our phone is the same charger shape for the computer, so it kind of takes up all the room.
Shh. Stop complaining. Okay, friends, this is what that crimp cover, where's the camera on that? All right, this is the crimp cover on that. I don't know if you can see that. So that looks pretty good. And then here's the one on this. So what we did today, I put one of those crimp covers to cover up my knot. So here's the finished look. There's the finished look on that. It's okay.
Looks
So
good.
It's a little thick. You know, a better one would be something that's, I don't know, there's a better way.
Well, you did a good job with the kit, so.
I don't feel like I love that. So anyway, we'll add that to the back of my chair. All right, so what we did today was we did this necklace. This was our newest kit, and I showed how to do a flow, like a flow of color. This one was featuring amber, the manuka colored, I think it's like honey, and garnet, bicolor garnet, peridot, and apatite on that end, golden sheen obsidian, and these are little pyrite nuggets. Aren't those fun? But anyway, this is the kit. It's in the store. Azalea dropped some links for that. And we showed knotting and how to finish off a necklace. Thank you all for sticking with us for the last, until our computer died unexpectedly, because it looked like it had full charge. I guess it doesn't want to do it for over.
I think the
over an hour and a
live
half. I didn't
stream
really
sucks the
think that
battery
we did
kind of
that.
hard.
Oh, I
Because
think
we've
so
also got
too.
the devices plugged in.
We have so many devices plugged into it, it just completely strained it. So anyway, friends, I'm going to wrap it up. And thank you all for being here and joining us on this wonderful Wednesday evening. And I'm going to finish this necklace. And I'm going to see you on Sunday. So, friends, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. And stay creative out there. Post your pictures to the group and let's see them. And then maybe we'll do another, you know, I know Wendy says we can't all be Kate. She's got a system down. She's like the freaking, well, you know what? She did work for Apple. So listen, she's got skills. All right, friends, I'll see you on Sunday.
Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.